Hi guys, good day. I hope you're all doing well. So I'm going to be using this short video just to explain how to do a systematic review. Also, this particularly for the guys I'm going to be working with on the systematic review of the medical education in Nigeria. And I want to use it as an example just so you see how a systematic review is done. I'll try to be quick because I'm going to send you some other resources on the topic. So I won't do so much on the explaining here. Just carry you through the process. So systematic review. It's like one of the topmost level of evidence in medicine, and so basically it's one of the reviews, literature review processes. So that literature review process include like scoping review, rapid review, and umbrella review or whatever. But a systematic review, it basically means that you're systematically going to search for literature on that particular topic and then pull them together as a thought to present an evidence on that topic. So I hope that as we go through this process, you kind of understand how the process is done. So I've I will not do so much here, but it's a rigorous process. Systematic review is a rigorous process that tries to avoid bias, and it's like I mentioned, it's a high level of evidence. So the study that I shared with you guys is to undergraduate medical education in Nigeria, doing a systematic review of how well the current practice align with the national standard and what works and what is not working. What are the recommendations that are currently available? So our focus will be on, is the current practice aligned with the uh, NUC and MDCN standards? And if it does, what is working? If it's not, what is not working, and what can be improved? So I will not do earlier. So moving on. So the main research question is, so how does all the empirical evidence that has been published recently between in the last 10 years, how do they describe how well the current practice of the undergraduate medical education in Nigeria align with the national training standard? So, and here are some of the sub questions. Want to understand what domains are effective, what domains are defective, and what are the recommendations, what are the innovations that have come up in how the education and curricular pedagogy training is being done. So that the key steps to a literature review. One is you will develop your research question and write your protocol. So the aim, what you're trying to do is to be very clear about what you want to do at the start. To develop your research question, write your protocol, and develop your research question using the PICO or PICO framework, which I've mentioned to you before, or you must have read from the research question course. Then you would write your protocol. Now, your protocol, like, it's going to be like the Bible. It's going to be like the guiding document, the blueprint of your work. And you define what is your exclusion and inclusion criteria, develop your search strategy, and then you plan how you're going to extract your data, or you ensure that you follow the appropriate guideline. Now, in developing your protocol, after you finish writing it, usually for a review, you don't need ethical approval, so which is good. So the next thing that you want to do is that protocol, you want to register it online. So after you have done register your protocol online, and I've explained the reason why you register your protocol the last time we talked. That the reason why you register is, one is you don't want any other person to start doing the work that you are doing, and secondly, you also want to be open, just so that people can follow your work, and don't want to start manipulating the process along the way, just so that you can stick to your protocol. You publish it. Then after you've published your protocol, then you now want to look for those published work that you are going to synthesize together. So you would go to databases. I believe you must have heard of like PubMed, but there are other databases like ERIC, Embase, you know, Ovid, Global Health. They're just different databases. Now, these are like online repositories of journals, articles, publications. So you are going there to search, and then you use your keywords to search for those literatures. So you are using those maybe in Nigeria medical education or graduate, and there's a whole lot of training to also how to develop the search strategy. Then other than those databases, you also want to search like the regular Google or Google Scholar, because there are things that you might miss from those databases. Say for instance, a policy document might not be published there, or a report on Nigerian medical education might not be published there. So you want to search also uh, uh, gray literature. So that's what is called gray literature. So things like reports that are not particularly peer-reviewed articles. Yeah. So now you know the concept, the key concept in this our literature review. One is undergraduate medical education. Two is Nigeria. Three is we are looking at alignment with national standards. So if you combine all of this in different ways, be able to do an accurate search. Now, if you look into the protocol that I've shared with you, you will see the search strategy and even the what you call the search string. So you can figure that out there. Now, when you are done with searching, which is you are looking online, you to find the different publications. Once you found them, the next thing is you want to screen them. You obviously will not um, write on all of them. So you want to systematically, that's why it's systematic review. You want to systematically, using your inclusion and exclusion criteria, you want to screen them. So this one is not worthy. This one is, I'm going to exclude this one for some other reasons. So, so that is what is called the screening process. And the screening process, usually before it used to be a lot manual, but now there's a lot, it has become more digital. So you have what is called like the reference managers, you have systematic review software. So we are going to use Covidence, which is one of the systematic review softwares. So what you do is that those literature that you found online, those journals that you found, you import them into that systematic review software, and then you now do the sorting, the screening, you do it there. So these softwares are really good because first, if you search different databases, you can find overlapping maybe articles. So it will remove all of those duplicates for you, and then you can now start your screening. Now the screening is done in stages. So please pay attention here. The stage one of the screening, after importing, you're going to look through the title and the abstract. By just merely looking at the title and abstract of an article, you can determine whether it meets your criteria or it doesn't. So you will look through that first. After you have done with title and abstract screening, then you move to the next stage, which is full text screening. Now you now want to read the nitty-gritty of the text to be sure that it actually is it contains what you're looking for. If it doesn't contain what you're looking for, you also toss it at this stage. And when you are done with, let's say at the end of the day, let's say you started with like maybe 1,000 articles. By the time you finish your first screening, title and abstract, maybe you are left with 100. Then you now do full text screening, going through it, reading to be sure that did it really contain what I'm looking for. Maybe you are now left with like 30 at the end. Now that 30 is what you are now going to extract your data from. So you will copy the text that is relevant to your topic from that 30. So that's what's called data extraction. And it is that those texts that you copy that you will now put together as thoughts that you synthesize and write. Now, the interesting thing, so let me show you this example of how I search. If you can see here, this is a PubMed. It's one of the most popular databases online. So I search PubMed using the different concept in this our review, and then so this is what it generated like I think 298 results. So this 298 results now I can export it and then import it into Covidence, which is the reference management software, and from there I will now start doing the screening. So you can see that I've also applied the filters because we said we are doing 2016 to 2026. I've applied the filter here. There are other filters down here that you can apply to those databases. I know I'm moving a bit fast, so if you have any questions, feel free to just post it to me directly. I'm happy to answer your questions. Then so after you've imported your references, so this is example of how uh, the Covidence software looks like. This is, you can see stage one is import references. So I've imported the references there. So you can see even the duplicates that it has captured them and has removed them. After you have done with importing references, the next stage is start to an abstract screening, which is the stage where you can see that it's asking me to continue. After you are done with this stage, then you have full text review. After full text review, you have data extraction. And then there's also one stage that I've not mentioned, which is data appraisal, which is article appraisal. I hope that's from then. I'll talk about it a bit more. So you can see this is how the Covidence homepage looks like for our study. So when you get to this stage, you just want to continue and then do your text and abstract screening. When you are done, then you move to full text screening. So if you click on that continue for the title and abstract screening, this is how it will bring you to the screening page like this. So it will show you the title and the abstract of each of the texts, and then based on what you read there, you can determine whether you want to include it by saying yes or exclude it by saying no. If you are not sure, then you can click on maybe. Now at this stage, you are matching, you are screening this based on your eligibility criteria. So if you're not sure, you can check the eligibility criteria there again. You can see it up there. Just click on it. It will bring the eligibility criteria for you, and then you can use it to judge whether this particular article matches your criteria. If you're still not sure, which is possible, you can click on maybe. So you click on maybe. What it will do is that the way the screening process is done is that at least you can set the rules such that at least two persons will have to say yes to a particular article before it will be included and taken up to the next stage. So sometimes if I say yes and then maybe somebody has said no, there is a conflict. So we need somebody else to resolve that conflict. So at least each of the articles will have to have been chosen by two people before it will go to the next stage. So that is how this screening thing works. So at this stage, what you need to do is, if you think that this article matches the eligibility criteria, they did talk about undergraduate medical education in Nigeria. They did talk about the curriculum standard. They did give any recommendation on how to improve undergraduate medical education and the curriculum in Nigeria. Any article is, and it's better for you to be broad here than for you to be really narrow. Because if you're broad, you can still capture something that you can screen out and at the full text review stage. But if you try to be narrow and tough here, you might miss out on some important things. So here, what you want to do is click yes if you think it should be included, no if you shouldn't, and maybe if you are not sure. You can check the eligibility criteria. Okay, moving on. So I think for this particular study, so the inclusion criteria is any empirical study on undergraduate medical education in Nigeria. It has to be on undergraduate medical education, so take note of that. has to be on medical students, not graduates. That's the focus. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that those are the people answering, but that's the focus. Now, when I say empirical, it means that it is original research. So it is not an opinion. It is not opinion piece. It is not an expert opinion. It's not like uh, reviews. It's not just something that is not original research. So you want to remove anything that is not original research. So it can be qualitative, it can be quantitative, or mixed methods. And it must be about medical education. So even though whether it's a student that is answering the survey or the whatever they are doing, or whether it's teachers or lecturers, but the case is that it is focused on undergraduate medical education. And even sometimes you see some studies that combine different countries, Nigeria, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, wherever. If it does not include Nigeria specific findings, if you just lump everything together, we will not be able to judge. So that kind of study, you want to toss it. And then the study must be published within 2016 and 2026, which is what we are looking for in this case. So note that. So anything like opinion piece, you want to, what they say is an opinion paper or expert opinion or personal views. So you want to exclude those paper. So if you check the method of a paper, you will know, or even just by mere looking at the abstract, you will know whether something is an original research or not. Because if you don't see that in the aim, you look at the method. So you must see it there. And then, so any study that is focused on undergraduate medical education, so residency training, all of that, we want to exclude them because they are not talking about undergraduate medical education. So now, the data extraction process, which is after you are done with your screening, both uh, article and title and abstract, and the full text screening. So you are now copying out the part that is relevant, where they mention all the things that are relevant to your work. So you copy them out, and that because that's what you're going to synthesize into thoughts later on. And there's something called quality appraiser, which I said I'll talk about. So the quality appraiser is you want to talk about what level, how you are trying to rank the articles to know what weight do they carry in terms of evidence. So that one will develop a template, and each of the articles will now be ranked based on the quality work that's gone into it. And so when you are done with all of that, the data that you extracted, that's the text that you copied out. You will now bring all of it together to form a thought, or to form thoughts on the topic, to answer your research question, to integrate all your findings. So that is what is called evidence synthesis. So, and we'll go through that together. So at the end of it all, you write like a report, which is like a manuscript. And hopefully this one we can write a manuscript that we can share with policymakers, that we can share with educators, and that can also be presented at conferences and published as well. So what do I expect of you guys in supporting this work? One is I want you to understand the process. So please read on the try and watch the other videos and resources that we share with you. Read on the topic if you can, just so that you can participate actively, and then you can join the screening. I know that some of you are quite busy, you're pressed for time. If you're unable to, no problem. But if you can, participate in the screening, so you can do the text and abstract screening, full text screening. I will try to carry you along with the process, and then you can join data extraction, quality appraiser, and finally, the writing up process as well. So that is all in a nutshell. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. So thank you very much. Bye.